The next version of Men in Black is out, Men in Black International. I'll stay away from any spoilers here in this review. I don't want to spoil the film for anyone in case you don't want to go in spoiled. I'm already laughing a little bit at the thought of someone wanting to go in to see this film, which is completely unfair because I wanted to go see the film. I did see the film, but just thinking about, let's just cut to it. It's bad. The film is bad. I cannot recommend this film for anyone to go and see. So the thought of someone wanting to see this film after I've seen it and know what's in it is quite amusing to me, to think someone would want to actually see this after I know what was actually in the movie. But I'm sure a lot of people will see the film. It's a Men in Black movie, and if you like the franchise, and I'm not really sure why there is a Men in Black franchise as such, right here they could have just had this as a generic standalone sci-fi movie. It doesn't have too much really to do with Men in Black. I mean, it does. It has the sort of car technology they've got going, and they've got their little memory wipe thing and so on. They wear black suits and sunglasses, but it could have done just as well, if not better, and I don't think it did very well, but it could have done better just being a standalone sci-fi movie. But putting that aside, it is the worst movie I've seen this year. So this is, I mean in the actual movies themselves, so I might have seen a movie streamed or something that was worse, but of the actual new movies this year, of what I've actually seen, so there's undoubtedly lots of films released this year that are worse than this, but of the ones I've went to see, this is the worst film. This is worse than Dark Phoenix. I saw Dark Phoenix the other week. Dark Phoenix is better than this. While I was sitting through this film, I actually was thinking I maybe should have seen Dark Phoenix a second time. Okay, rather than sitting through the rest of this film. The film is a very, I don't know the best way to really put it. It was boring and bland. The film was boring and bland. I was very bored sitting through this film. I would say that the worst film I've seen this year, and I know lots of people hate me saying it again, is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was the worst film I've seen so far this year. This film is worse than Captain Marvel. But Captain Marvel I didn't say was a bad movie. So Captain Marvel I thought was a bit mediocre, but Captain Marvel had specific things I thought were actually very wrong with the movie, and if they were fixed, the movie could have been good, in my opinion. So I think Captain Marvel had issues, and they could have been fixed. This film, it doesn't really have any specific issues for me to point at. The whole thing is just very bland and generic, and it tries, I think, to be a comedy, and I didn't laugh at all. So I didn't laugh once during the movie. Some people did laugh, and if you find the type of comedy that this is doing funny, you may very well enjoy this movie. I didn't find it funny, and most of the audience didn't laugh as well. So it wasn't like, everyone was basically laughing. There were distinct noises around the place, enough to know that there were just sort of several people laughing rather than a good proportion of the people. And I was groaning at what I knew they were trying to, be the comedic bit. So I knew, they're trying to be funny here, and all of it didn't just fall flat. I thought it was actually terrible. So the comedy, I guess, if you could say, can you fix this film for me? Yeah, if the comedy was funny, then you've got a completely different film on your hands, sure. But, I mean, the plot's, it was generically okay. It was what you would expect from Men in Black. Special effects are all outstanding. I didn't really look at too much and go, oh, that looks terrible. They were really good. The green screen work is very good. So just on those sort of levels, there's nothing wrong. But overall, I was extremely bored, and I didn't think I would have been. We've got the two main cast members here back from Thor Ragnarok. I really liked Thor Ragnarok. I thought the two of them would be able to play off each other quite well like they did in the other movie. It all just felt flat for me. I didn't like it at all. And Chris Hemsworth, he is putting on his Thor accent again. Now, he's in Men in Black's London office, and everyone there seems to have an English accent, but it's just not right having him put on the Thor accent, okay? He doesn't have long hair, which is good. At least he had short hair. But you already know, hey, this is Thor. And then you get the Thor accent. And then he's basically playing a superhero here where he's beating people up and doing those sort of things. And there was a point where he grabs a hammer in his hand, obviously a sort of normal hammer, not a Thor-sized hammer. And a few people did chuckle at that in the audience. I still didn't laugh at that. I thought it was a pretty weak nod. And maybe I would have laughed if I'd already been laughing, but I was really over the film, probably, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I was really thinking I made a horrible mistake. So, again, very bored, very boring, and there's explosions going on, there's action, there's special effects, and I just didn't care at all. Tessa Thompson, the other main person in the film, Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok, she's not good, it's just sort of, nothing special. Again, I can't really point at what really was wrong with what she did, But overall, yeah, don't see this film. The film isn't good. Don't go and see this film. Maybe if you're a hardcore fan of the series, I guess there's things here that you like. It's got a little memory wipe thing. They put on sunglasses. They wear a black suit. So those things are in here if that's enough to make a movie enjoyable. But overall, it was not an enjoyable experience. Now going in, I assumed they'd do a little bit of virtue signalling to do with the name Men in Black. Obviously now they don't even have two men in the starring role, they got a woman and a man. And there was a scene between Emma Thompson and Tessa Thompson, Emma Thompson plays the boss of the organisation, Agent O, and they talk about it there, where there's just the two of them in the room, and she says something, why is it called Men in Black? And Emma Thompson replies something along the lines of, oh, you don't think I've brought this up before? And they're just hanging on to it, and it's going to take them a little bit more time. You know, we need to give the weak men just some more time to accommodate to women working here. Something along those lines is what it felt like she was saying. And then nothing else. So they just check a little box to go, look, we have it here. Look, don't complain about our film not mentioning this. And then it's just pointless. So it feels completely out of place, like a lot of these things do in a lot of these movies. Why they put it in, I have no idea, but it was there. I thought it would be there, and it does stand out. Towards the end of the movie, there is a scene where Chris Hemsworth is now wearing pink pants. It's not really explained why he's suddenly wearing pink pants, and it is brought up by one of the characters saying, why is he wearing pink pants? Because obviously they wear black suits, but he's wearing pink pants, and he does a little bit of virtue signaling as well, a little bit of white knighting, and this is brought up as well, and he sort of tries to protect or get in front of it and help out Tessa Thompson's character about how she's not actually a female. So it does happen a second time, and they actually get Chris Hemsworth to do it this time. Very annoying, but again, I expected it to be there. No one's going to be happy with it. It's not going to be enough to help anybody that wants to see this sort of stuff. It's not going to be enjoyable for anyone who doesn't want to see it. I don't understand why they keep putting this into movies. And there was, I suppose, a third thing to do with this, really just to do with hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of modern films right here as to who's allowed to be a sex object or who isn't. And Chris Hemsworth had to take one for the team, if you will. He has to have sex with an alien, and that just seemed to be perfectly fine for him to have to do that to this tentacled thing. And we get a scene with him with his shirt off. But Tessa Thompson very clearly stated when she was asked to just sort of entertain one of the aliens that she will not procreate with an alien. So that's across the line for her. As a female, she's not required to be sexually harassed in the workplace. But as a male, Chris Hemsworth, he has to put up with sexual harassment. And there's obviously no topless scene with Tessa Thompson or anything like that. She's always wearing a kind of loose white shirt. So Chris Hemsworth is put up as a sex symbol, and Tessa Thompson completely is not. And Chris Hemsworth has to be perfectly fine with being sexually molested or raped, basically. And Tessa Thompson clearly doesn't have to put up with that. So all in all, I didn't enjoy the film. It's hard to really point specifically at what's wrong, other than it's probably a comedy that's not funny, or at least I didn't find it funny. Now, if you find it funny, well, you could very well think this is a fantastic movie, but I didn't think it was funny. The action is, in nowadays, generic. Maybe if you go back 30 years, you would just be blown away by the special effects because they're good, and you'd be blown away by the action. That's not enough anymore. Every film can do this. All the special effects, these are just special effects you get in every big budget Hollywood movie. So that doesn't make a film. And so, yeah, they're there. Yeah, they're fine. It's not enough. So, or at least it's not enough for me to see. So on a technical level, it could get all kinds of excellent points for being technically excellent in all the special effects, but that's not enough. That doesn't make a movie in 2019. So if you do want to see a movie right now, I'd recommend going to see John Wick Parabellum Chapter 3. Okay, John Wick Chapter 3. It's a good action movie. Check it out. Don't go and watch this. I would even say go and see Dark Phoenix. Go see Dark Phoenix. Don't watch this film. There has to be something better than this for you to go see in the movies right now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.